All right, welcome back to the program, guys. I'm honored to have with me none other than Sean Spicer. Sean, listen, I got to tell you, man, it is an honor and it's a pleasure to be able to meet you. I wish we could, or I hope that one day we can meet face to face. But I've been a fan of yours for some time, and so I'm honored to have you on the program.
Well, thank you very much. I've had a lot of introductions, none as kind as yours. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation, Carl. Thank you.
All right, yeah, absolutely. So first off, let's talk about Front Row Joes. I definitely want to talk about that. And then
Yeah.
obviously there's so much in the media, in the headlines. We're in a crazy election cycle. You've been in this game for quite some time, so I just love to get your take on some things. But let's start with the Front Row Joes. You've done a documentary or created a documentary of these Trump's Front Row Joes. Basically, these people that will travel from rally to rally to rally to watch President Trump, and they're your average everyday Americans, and they use a lot of their own. Obviously, they use their own resources to do so. Just give us your take on them, and especially, have you spoken to them since any of them since the assassination attempt on Trump's life?
That's a great question. So let me just kind of take the audience back a step. I've been in politics 30 years, and I've never seen anything like the movement that makes up the Trump movement, right? These people call themselves the Front Row Joes. They've gone to 50, 60, 70, and many as 80 rallies. They'll go from event to event on their own dime, spending upwards of $50,000 just to be in the front row every time, right? It's like deadheads, but always wanting to be in the front row to make sure that President Trump knows they support him. They go to these rallies 4 or 5 days in advance. They sleep in the back of their cars. And in a conversation that I had, Carl, with a bunch of folks from the 2016 campaign, we were kind of commenting that this is just so historic. And everyone kind of looked at me and said, well, if you don't document it, no one will. Meaning the media was never going to cover them. Hillary called us deplorables. And so I set out to explain to people who these people were, the backbone of the MAG movement, the people that make the Trump movement happen, the people. And when I sat down with President Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and I went through the fact that, like, what does it feel like when you walk out of court and there's 40 guys there with your signs and your hats, and what did you say? How this thing? It's just, to me, it was so fascinating because Trump at these rallies always wants to say that the media will never show the crowd, and it's not just that. It's that they won't even tell you the dedication. It's one thing to show up to a one event. Like Barack Obama had a lot of supporters. Reagan had tons of supporters. But they didn't go from event to event to event to event the way that Trump supporters do. And so the reason we made the movie was that if you've not been to a Trump rally, if you don't know a Front Row Joe, we bring you into a Trump rally. We bring you into that experience. Sit down with Trump, sit down with Steve Bannon. And if you go to salemnow.com, you can watch the movie, you can buy the DVD, and you can actually give it, right? So one of the things that we teamed up with Salem, if you go to salemnow.com, and you know somebody, maybe they're a Trump supporter and you want them to see it, you can give it to them. You can also send it to someone from CNN or the New York Times that needs to see it. Maybe they need to understand the movement. But the cool thing is the folks at Salem on salemnow.com put a little gift button. So if you know somebody that should watch this and needs to understand it, because, one of the things, Carl, that I got asked was just a pro-Trump movie. And I was like, it actually just is a movie. I mean, we went out, we interviewed these people. We're like, why do you do this? What is it like? How does your family react to the fact that you go to rally after rally after rally? What does your work think? And it's their voices. There's no voiceover, right? I don't voice it over. Nobody does. It's like we ask people, what was it like? Why did you do this, etc. And so I just wanted, for history, to allow people the opportunity to know what it was like when people speak about a Trump rally or the Trump supporters, so that we captured it. And like I said, I think one of the reasons we made the DVDs available to people is so that big tech can't erase this at some point, and they can't just go into the hinterland, that people could actually get a hard copy. If they didn't want to stream it, they wanted the DVD, you could get it there as well. So everything's available at salemnow.com.
Sean, let me ask you, was there anything that any of these Trump's Front Row Joes said What drew them to him? What's the connection? What makes them so dedicated and willing to travel from place to place to place? What was it about Trump that mesmerized them in that way, if that's the right word to use?
It is. It is. You're hitting the nail on the head. But one of the things that I found fascinating was I went into this with this question that you're asking. Why do you follow Trump? And you know what happened most times is they said, I follow Trump because he fights for the country. And I believe in this country. I want to fight for this country and the values that I think are important. And Trump fights for that. So it was fascinating because they believe he is the agent for positive change in the country, and therefore they're supporting him. But they're not like, it's not like the Grateful Dead followers or the followers of a sports team that love the team. They love the country, and they believe that Trump fights for the country, therefore they'll fight for him. It's a very interesting dynamic that I thought was at play. But, Carl, if I can, I want to go back to something you asked initially, which was after I made this movie and it came out, I thought the same thing you did right after that assassination attempt. And I have not spoken to any of them personally, but I started to reach out. I'm in the process of connecting with a few, but I kept thinking it wasn't that I didn't connect with them, but I wanted to know right away. When I heard Corey had been shot and killed, and then a couple of the other, I thought, oh my God, I bet you I know one of these guys. Luckily, wow. God forbid we lost anyone, but it was just, I kept thinking to myself, oh my God, after all of this, I feel like I know these guys. And right. I honestly was like, and I kept thinking, holy smokes, I probably know one of them.
Man, honestly, that would be a chilling feeling. Let me share this with you, and then I'll get your response. We have 3 minutes left in this block here, Sean. I can remember attending a Trump rally. I've been to a couple in Orlando, and I can remember attending the last one that he did in Orlando. Actually, one in Georgia too. But in Orlando in 2020, and I was going there and I was reporting as a local radio host. I just wanted to, give my account and all that kind of stuff and see what was going on. And man, it was something like I had never seen before. It was the feeling was just so cool. Everybody was cool. Everybody was so nice to each other. And then I ended up I go to a very culturally diverse church, and I ran into a group of Puerto Ricans that were Puerto Ricans for Trump. I had no idea. They went to my church, and then one of the ladies was like, Carl, I've been here for 2 days. I was like, what? You've been here for 2 days? That is the dedication they had.
But Carl, that's why I made the movie, because not everyone's had your experience, and that's why once you have it, you were like, I cannot. So I wanted everybody that could watch this movie to have the experience that you had, which was, oh my God, you meet people, and that's what you just described is kind of what people will realize in the movie that happens. The thing that's so fascinating with your story there is that there were people who said, oh, I went to this rally. I met Rick Frazier. He's one of the front row Joes. And Rick said, oh, you should come to the next rally. And the next thing you know, I'm a front row Joe too. And it was it would snowball where people, there's no group or membership card to give to become a front row Joe. It's just, you start going to enough, you meet the right, they've got some shirts and jackets that they make for themselves. But the point is that they invite you in. Hey, Carl, we saw you at the last two. We're going to be at the next one. And they all arrive early. They sleep in the back of their cars. But they're a family, and they meet and they invite each other. I mean, a couple of them now vacation together.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Listen, I'm speaking to Sean Spicer. Make sure you go out and get his documentary, Trump's Front Row Joes. You can find it at salemnow.com. You can also go to his website, I believe, right, Sean? SeanSpicer.com and order it from there. We'll be back with one more segment with Sean Spicer. My name is Carl Jackson. Back in a few. Today's show is brought to you in part by Priority Gold. Economists warn that massive tax hikes could devastate your IRA and your 401k account as the stock market braces for impact. With inflation on the rise and global uncertainty looming, it's clear why central banks and savvy Americans are turning to gold. In times like this, Proverbs 21:20 reminds us to preserve what we built. Right now, that wisdom points us towards gold. If you haven't had your eye on gold, time to make it a priority. My name is Carl Jackson, and I am urging you to call my friends at Priority Gold to find out how they can help you diversify your savings with physical gold and silver. Call 1-800-405-GOLD or visit PriorityGold.com/golden for a free gold info guide. Plus, see if you qualify for free shipping and storage. Act now to get your portfolio working for you while the market is golden. Again, call 1-800-405-GOLD, 1-800-405-GOLD to speak with a gold specialist or visit PriorityGold.com/golden, PriorityGold.com/golden. All right, welcome back to the program. I'm speaking to Sean Spicer. He's got a new documentary out that I want you to get, Trump's Front Row Joes. You can get it now, and you can get it from salemnow.com. You can also go to SeanSpicer.com. You can order it there as well. But you do want to get a copy because there's no doubt about it that the mainstream media is going to try to erase what we're seeing and what we're experiencing. And Sean, listen, I got to ask you, obviously, we have just had the craziest political season in just a in a few short weeks that I've ever seen. And we already have the Trump assassination, at least by the left, attempts to try to memory hold that. Your take?
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe we're a couple weeks out, and the questions that we haven't. Do you realize that there still has been a briefing by law enforcement? I mean, there's like telephone poles that fall down to get more attention than an assassination attempt. I'm not kidding. I mean, honestly,
no,
I feel
it's
like
crazy.
if a pole fell down in the middle of the street, they'd be like, the Department of Transportation is holding a briefing at whatever. Think about it. When that bridge incident happened, there was a multi-agency briefing for days on end, and rightly so. But here we have the assassination attempt of a former president. And Carl, to this day, there hasn't been a single media briefing. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, you talk about memory holding this thing, and then you start looking at the Google searches. You type in Trump Association, it comes in with like FDR. I don't get this. I honestly, and every day that goes by, I see one additional video or piece of evidence about a communication failure or slopey roofs or whatever. I mean, if it wasn't so sad. I don't know that I laugh, but it's because I can't do anything else. Like you're like, this is just not, there's no way. I cannot believe that we are 2 weeks-ish plus, maybe 2.5 from this happening. And we don't have the basic answers. We don't have a media briefing yet. The guy today, at least what I saw, and I didn't read the whole report, the deputy director, and I was waiting for this shoe to drop because I had gotten a tip from Dan Bongino. The guy who's in charge of the Secret Service now, who was the deputy director, oversaw protective details. So they promoted the guy whose job it was to oversee the failure that existed. And it's very Washington, which is, you fail upwards. So anyway, I can't believe. If this was not Donald Trump, there's no way that they would get away with the non-answers, right? I mean, if this was a Democrat that was in control, but the idea that the resources weren't there, that the coordination, I mean, it doesn't pass the smell test. This guy wasn't like 3 miles out and took a crazy shot, right? I mean, the guy's 140 yards out on a clear sight roof. Anyway, the whole thing to me is mind-boggling, the way that we are still not getting what I would consider very basic answers.
Yeah, it's really scary to me. And honestly, there's a video that's out with the shooter running across the roof, which leads to even more questions that need to be answered by the Secret Service. And I'm not a conspiracy theory type guy at all, Sean, but I got to tell you,
you don't need to be. You don't need to be a conspiracy theory. A guy shows up to an event with a rangefinder, and they're like, "Hey, that's odd." And then they're like, "Hey, he's on the roof." After you see, I mean, you need to have common sense. This isn't like everyone feels guilty about thinking, "Hey, I thought of this. It's I don't like it defies common sense what happened.
It does.
The idea that
Could
a
our
guy with a
agencies be
rangefinder-
that incompetent?
I hate to tell you this. I think it's the thing that's funny to me is I hate to use the word funny because it's not funny.
Oh, he cut out.
And then
on
we
me.
open the southern border. We allow everybody to walk in. It's we can.
Sean, you cut out on me. I heard we allow people to walk in.
Yeah,
The open
I think
borders.
after 11, we would never forget, and we do everything every week at the lessons of that day.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have several questions that I want to ask you. We only have a few minutes, so I'm just gonna try to get in as many as we possibly can. Biden is out. Kamala Harris is in. Give us your take on that and what Trump needs to do in order to defeat Kamala Harris, because she's going to be the nominee, it looks like, and she's already searching for a VP. So,
well, look, let me just be crystal clear to your audience. Kamala Harris is the nominee. Trump needs to stay laser focused on her policies. The people that matter in this election care about who's going to make their life better, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. His record beats hers every day of the week and twice on Sunday. And the more that he can stay focused on issues and policies, the better. So it's the personal stuff, the attacks on her. I get it. It might make us feel better. It might reinforce why some of us don't like her. But if you really come down to who is going to matter in this election, stay focused on policy, on immigration, on the economy, on her failures as whether it was a senator or as vice president. She owns it's the Biden-Harris record. And let me put it in terms for every leftist. The pronouns for her are not his, it's theirs. It's their record, not his record.
That's good. That's good. Hey, listen. Let me ask you this. Kamala Harris on the border. She has been the border czar. There was a report today. I forget who it was from. I think it was on Red State. But basically, she had spoken to the Department of Homeland Security secretary, that is Alejandro Mayorkas, and literally told him, allow people to come in, allow illegal aliens to come in. Do we need to see the Trump campaign? Are they doing all that they can to expose this lady? Because I feel like they are not hitting hard enough right now with ads on her with these topics, specifically the border.
I agree with you. I mean, that's why I was saying stay laser focused. Look, the border is open. Whether it's fentanyl and other drugs coming in, crime and terrorism, an open border is not a secure America. Kamala Harris, her one job was to do that. She failed at it, and we need to stay focused on things like that. People get that. Walk down the street in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Arizona, the swing states that are going to make a difference. Talk to any voter, no matter how left-wing they are. Do they care about drugs coming into their community? Yeah, they do. Do they care about terrorism and crime coming into their community? Yeah, they do. That is one issue that transcends ideology. Talking about the effects of an open border that they have caused and allow, and let's not make the mistake of, they failed. This was intentional. They didn't fail to secure the open border. They succeeded. This is their stated goal. And I think that we need to remind people of that and the consequences of it, because too often people say, like, she failed at securing the border. You think that was really what she wanted to do? It's easy. It doesn't take a genius to secure the border. You just do what Trump did. He had that all written out for you.
Sean,
they threw it away intentionally.
We have to leave it there. Go check out the movie Trump's Front Row Joes by Sean Spicer. Thanks so much for your time, Sean. Really appreciate it.
You bet, Carl. Thank you.
You might have heard Mike Lindell and MyPillow no longer have the support of the big box stores or the shopping channels that they used to. They've been part of this cancel culture, so they want to pass savings directly on to you, my listeners. They have a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just one product, but with the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds of products, some that you may even know about. Obviously, you know about the MyPillow. So here's what Mike is doing to get the word out. I'm inviting my listeners to go to mypillow.com for their $25 extravaganza. They have a 2-pack multi-use My Pillows for just $25. My Pillow sandals are just $25. Their 6-pack towel sets are just $25. Brand new pack of dish towels, $25. So for the first time ever, the premium My Pillows with the all-new Giza fabric are just $25 as well. And orders over $75 receive free shipping. All you have to do to get this amazing offer is go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code Carl, C-A-R-L, or give them a call, 800-858-0263. That's promo code Carl. All right, welcome back to the program. My name is Carl Jackson. You can find me on all things social media at The Carl Jackson Show, X, Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, and Getter. Also, please subscribe to my podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. All right, I started to get to this last night. And just wasn't able to go through it. But listen, Kamala Harris is trying to avoid the blue wall. This is something that she's not going to be able to avoid. And again, she's going to be making a VP pick. I suspect, and obviously there's been several people mentioned, including Pete Buttigieg and Andy Beshear and all these other people. But I think her best pick would be Josh Shapiro. And the only reason being is because he's part of the blue wall. Now, she has, sadly, an anti-Semitic base. Many in her party, they're concerned about Michigan. I really think that there are a few people, there are a few crazy leftists, and Kamala Harris is one of them, quite frankly. But there's a very few radical leftists in the base that are making the most noise. And I hope that she avoids picking Josh Shapiro, because I think that it would make it harder, quite frankly. It would make it harder for Trump to win Pennsylvania. And if Trump can win Pennsylvania, if the Trump-Vance ticket can win Pennsylvania, listen, I just think that it's going to be extremely difficult for Democrats to be able to win the White House, given the Electoral College. I believe it's 18 or 19 points when it comes to the Electoral College. So it's a pretty big number. It's a very important state. But Kamala Harris's strategy, at least up until now, and we'll have to see who she picks, but her strategy has been to go through the Sun Belt. And I touched on this yesterday, but I just want to reiterate some of the things that I mentioned. And I want to go ahead and hit some of those topics again that Kamala Harris is so weak on. Sean Spicer is absolutely right. Listen, I think that the left and Kamala Harris's campaign is going to do everything possible in order to avoid real confrontation when it comes to her policies. She hasn't even given a press conference in 10 days, and she's the presumptive nominee, I believe, as of she is going to be the nominee. All right, they're doing the virtual thing. She's it. You heard Sean Spicer say it. She's it. There's just not enough time to switch out at this point. But again, this blue wall is going to be very important, and this is why we need to hit her on policy. This is a lady that was against fracking. She has flip-flopped on so many issues, including fracking. If she's had a change of heart, someone needs to ask her why. This lady needs to give a press conference and explain why. Because I think that this is an issue that we need to hit hard on. Now, she's going after some of the Sun Belt states, so she sees an opportunity there. She sees an opportunity in Arizona. She sees an opportunity in Georgia and Nevada. Quite frankly, I don't think that she has the momentum that she believes that she has in those states. But here's a summary from unheard.com. Thank you, Zach. Kamala Harris ignores the blue wall at her apparel. As Kamala Harris prepares to lead the Democrats into the 2024 election, her team has begun debating what a path to victory might look like. Which voters should she work on engaging the most? And in which states should she and her allies spend the bulk of their newly amassed war chest? Now, again, we touched on this yesterday, but this is very, very important. This can determine who sits in the White House, right? All right, so the Sun Belt states, Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada, she's going after the younger crowd, the more racially diverse crowd, and what she considers the well-educated crowd. If that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. Now, she's doing this at the expense, if you will, of some of the party's tried and true blue wall. States like Michigan, states like Wisconsin. These are the states that Trump was able to win over Hillary Clinton. That's what gave him the White House in 2016, right? Because Hillary Clinton thought that she had the blue wall locked up. She didn't even bother to go there and campaign. And Trump did. He worked his butt off, and as a result, he picked. It was a major surprise for the left. And we saw them all weeping, and we saw the gnashing of teeth and all that kind of good stuff that one can only hope that we see again this year. But according to Politico, Harris's emerging brain trust believes that her strength with young black and brown voters will put more states in play than a weakened Biden could credibly contest. The Midwest is not where opportunity is for her. They believe that opportunity is Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. So for those of you that are listening in Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania, you need to make sure that you work your butts off to make sure that we get the Trump-Vance ticket and every Republican down the line elected. And again, I don't necessarily believe that her chances are as strong as she believes they are in Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia. But Pennsylvania, if she picks Shapiro, that's going to be in play for Democrats. Guys, I want to talk to you about wealth protection research. At the very heart of our democracy lies a principle that we hold sacred. It's free speech. It's the cornerstone that supports every freedom that we cherish. Yet in today's digital age, discussions about our wealth, our rights, and our future are being silenced or overshadowed in mainstream narratives, leaving many feeling voiceless in conversations crucial to our financial independence and security. This is where wealth protection research steps in. They're armed with a mission that's never been more critical. Wealth Protection Research is not a financial advisory firm. They are defenders of free speech, committed to giving a voice to the silence. Wealth Protection Research tirelessly seeks out financial experts. These are the voices that challenge prevailing narratives, especially as we navigate the uncertainties of the 2024 election. Wealth Protection Research has created a 2024 Election Wealth Protection Report. This free report highlights the 3 best ideas for protecting and growing your money heading into the 2024 election. It contains ideas the mainstream media won't touch, and listeners can get it completely free. All you have to do is text the word ideas to 76626 to claim your free copy. If you believe in the sanctity of free speech and the importance of financial freedom, act now. Text the word ideas to 76626 to claim your free copy of this 2024 Election Protection Report. It's time to widen the scope of what we're told, to hear the ideas the establishment does not think you can handle, and to take control of our financial destinies. Text ideas to 76626 to claim your free copy. If you text the word ideas today, you'll also get a free gold investment kit from Wealth Protection Research, sponsored by Augusta Precious Metals.